With massive numbers of personnel on both sides, both Russia and Ukraine are using a wide variety of weapons to arm their troops. While we have extensively covered World War II-era weapons in Ukraine in our other videos, there's more than just vintage gear making appearances on the battlefield today. Let's take a look at some of the weird weapons being used in Ukraine. Number 1. The RPG-30. While many people might not think an RPG is that weird, after all, it appears as the weapon of choice among bad guys in every video game and movie, you would be mistaken. The RPG-30, known as the Kyruk or Hook in Russian, is the latest and greatest version of its cousin that came into service decades before. What makes the RPG-30 so unique is its ability to defeat active protection systems on tanks. Active Protection Systems, or APS, is the general term used to describe an advanced armor system where a combination of radars, fire control computers, and mini rockets are used to shoot down incoming ordnance against a tank. APS is one of the newest developments in armor technology, and countries have been looking for meaningful ways to defeat it for years. In 2008, the Russian government found its solution in the RPG-30, firing just a fraction of a second before the main rocket. The decoy rocket is launched from a side tube below the main 105mm rocket. Once fired, operators can then discard the tube. Because it's fired just a fraction of a second faster, the system's goal is to get the tank to waste a rocket on the decoy, allowing the main rocket to hit the tank. Thinking the threat is destroyed, the tank will not re-engage for another split second. That slight delay is all it takes for the almost 23-pound grenade to slam into the target. Allegedly, the RPG-30 can take out up to 650mm of sloped armor. While this claim has not yet been confirmed, it's confirmed that these have been used on the battlefield. Thankfully for Ukrainian troops, there are systems like the Trenchcoat system, designed by Israel, that can defeat such weapons by launching a bunch more missiles each time the APS detects a threat. However, it's unknown if Ukrainian tanks are equipped with such a system. Number 2. RPO-A Shmel. Designed at the very end of the Cold War, the Shmel was made to be a man-portable fire support system that could supply drastic firepower in situations where artillery or air support was unavailable or impossible to use. Weighing in at just over 22 pounds, the Shmel was a reusable rocket system that gave the operator several warheads to choose from. The primary warhead was a thermobaric warhead. Thermobaric weapons are very deadly in urban environments and do not kill like normal high explosives. Instead of causing damage from normal high explosives, thermobaric weapons or vacuum bombs do their damage by sucking all the available oxygen in the area. The resulting explosion and pressure change can cause catastrophic damage even to people behind cover, in buildings, bunkers, or trenches. Because of its ability to destroy personnel an operator cannot directly see, it's a sort of wonder weapon for an infantry squad. But thermobaric munitions are not the only type of ammo it can shoot. Besides shooting smoke rounds, the Shmel can also shoot incendiary rounds. These contain 20 pellets inside the warhead, and the pellets can ignite as soon as the warhead leaves the tube. Using a substance called pyrogel, the flames can burn at an impressive 800 to 1000 degrees Celsius for 5 to 7 minutes on their own before hitting a target. The Russians even beefed up the Shmel in 2003 when they released a lighter version with better thermobaric munitions. Number 3. M14 Rifles. Surplus World War II weapons aren't the only surplus rifles making a comeback in Ukraine. Some Cold War-era stock is making its way into the front line also. The M14 entered service in the U.S. military as its standard battle rifle in 1959. However, its heavyweight, large caliber, and unwieldy full-auto fire did not win it many favors among its troops in Vietnam. Because of this, the U.S. military started transitioning the force to the M16 within 6 years of its entering service, and by the end of the war, these battle rifles were primarily relegated to snipers and designated marksmen. After Vietnam, the US had over 1 million of these rifles with little use for them. Because of this, they started selling them off whenever they could. When the Baltic countries of Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia joined NATO between 1991 and 2004, the US sold these countries tens of thousands of M14 rifles. Like their American counterparts, the Baltic countries relegated these rifles to a sniper role, where they saw action in Iraq and Afghanistan. In a deal to send better sniper rifles to those countries, the Baltics donated between 5,000 to 7,000 M14 rifles to Ukraine. From photo and video evidence, Ukrainian troops are also using the rifle in a sniper capacity. Number 4. The TOS-1. The TOS-1 sounds like the Shmel, but on steroids. First developed for use during the Soviet occupation of Afghanistan, the TOS-1 is a formidable weapon system, firing 24 220mm rockets in a matter of seconds. The TOS-1 can make quick work of any fortified structure or armored vehicle, Giving the weapon system even more incredible firepower is their thermobaric or incendiary warheads. Because of this, some claim that the TOS-1 is the strongest non-nuclear weapon Russia can employ on the battlefield. Powering this beast is the chassis of a T-72 tank. The Soviets choose to do this because of the rocket's limited range. The first models had just a 3-kilometer effective range, and upgrades to the munitions over the years have only pushed this out to 10 kilometers. Additionally, there are very few of these in Russian service, though Russia has exported dozens of those to Iraq, Syria, and Azerbaijan, seeing combat in all three places. The Russian military retains very few of these in inventory. At about 16 units before the war started, these saw extensive uses in the battle for Kharkiv and the Donbass. Photographic evidence shows at least several were destroyed or captured by Ukraine. Though these have not been seen too much, it appears they are making a comeback, with Russian media reporting the military received new shipments of around a dozen units in September and December 2022. Number 5. The T-14 Armata tank. The T-14 Armata has been a buzz for years among military circles as this supposed super tank. Allegedly, the Armata is the most advanced tank in the world, at least according to the Russians, with new and improved fire control systems that allow it to fire more accurately on the move and a supercharged new engine. The Armata can supposedly outgun any NATO tank. The Russians also claim the tank has the best armor in the world, with armor capsules surrounding the crew, engine, and auto turret, so a penetrating hit will not cause a catastrophic explosion like legacy Soviet tanks are known to suffer. This catastrophic explosion is evidenced by the turret flying off the tank due to the ammunition in the autoloader exploding too. Another supposedly great feature is the active self-protection system on board. Composed of one of the most advanced radars that operate in multiple frequency bands, the tank can, on paper, engage dozens of aerial and ground targets at once. Whether it's a speeding projectile or an incoming missile, the Afghanit protection system, as it's known, is intended to keep the crew safe. Envisioned to eventually become the primary main battle tank in service, the Armata program has been bogged down for years due to funding issues. With only around 20 known Armatas produced by 2022, the tank operating in Ukraine has been subject to debate for months. Recent video evidence in Ukraine shows that as of the end of 2022, the first 4 Armatas appeared to be crossing the border into Ukraine and entering combat there. However, the Russian Ministry of Defense still needs to confirm their use in Ukraine. Additionally, all the Russian claims about the Armata remain doubtful, since no one outside of Russia has tested the vehicle, and it's highly likely its combat power is overstated. Number 6. Armored Trains. No, this isn't a particular video game developer taking artistic liberties with World War I. This is a real weapon used first by the Soviets and now by the Russian army. Russia is the largest country in the world but has historically had very poor highways. As a result, their military logistics have relied heavily on rail transportation to get around. Starting out in the Russian Civil War as a way of providing mobile firepower, the armored trains used by the Red Army morphed into an armored convoy to protect logistics routes. The Red Army's armored trains were equipped with various anti-aircraft and heavy machine guns. The Russians abandoned the idea of armored trains by the early 2000s and then decommissioned them. However, it appears that Russian fears of their inability to supply Crimea after its annexation made them bring them back into service in 2016. As of today, the Russian army is confirmed to have 4 of these trains. 2 of them, Yenisei and Amur, are confirmed by video evidence and Russian government statements to be in combat in Ukraine. According to Amur's conductor, the primary mission is still protecting supply lines. Armed with 2 autocannons taken from BMP infantry fighting vehicles and several dozen machine guns, the trains primarily operate in southern Ukraine. This is notable because southern Ukraine has had the most active partisan movements, and the Russians' use of these trains shows they're very concerned about protecting their rear area supply lines. Number 7. The Remote Anti-Armor Mine System. The Remote Anti-Armor Mine System, also known as RAMS, is a state-of-the-art anti-armor system deployed, out of all places, out the back of a 155mm artillery shell. How it works is when the shell is fired, the propulsion charge ignites and fires the shell out of the gun. The timer can be preset to a specified time to set off the second charge. The second charge that goes off is the expulsion charge. This small explosion forces 9 separate anti-tank mines to leave the back of the shell. Each mine is armed when centrifugal force rotates the mine several times. Upon landing, the mines are armed and ready for an approaching armored vehicle. Besides being launched from an artillery shell, what makes these mines special is the fact that they are tamper-proof and self-destruct if anyone tries to disarm them. 2 of the mines in each shell are fitted with what the U.S. Army calls anti-disturbance mechanisms to discourage enemy troops from clearing the mines. That probably means several mines will be set off with any pressure and not the usual weight of a tank. But if the mines don't find a target within 24 hours, they will self-destruct due to an electrical circuit inside the mines closing. Number 8. Defend-Tech's D-40 drones. The US is not the only country supplying Ukraine with kamikaze drones. So is Australia. In Australia, their drones are known as the Defend-Tech's D-40 loitering munitions. Weighing less than a pound, these munitions can be deployed singularly or as a swarm. Their stopping power is debatable, but they would definitely be effective against dug-in positions, light armored vehicles, and personnel out in the open. These drones can be deployed either by a single soldier throwing it or launching it out of a special 40mm grenade launcher, after which they have a range of around 20 kilometers. In August, the Australian government promised to send 300 drones to Ukraine. Within the past several months, the first units have arrived in Poland, and Ukrainian troops are receiving training on how to use them properly. As of December 2022, we still don't know if these drones have seen any combat use yet. Now go check out how Russian tactics to take over Ukraine will backfire, or click this other video instead.